Hello YouTube, Byron at Splitting Slices. Welcome back to the Knife and EDC channel, and today is Monday, March 16th, 2026, one day before great old St. Patty's Day, one of my favorites. Hope you have all of your green gear, green knives, green beer, and green clothing ready so you don't get pinched tomorrow. Hey, I've got all mine laid out, ready. I've even got part of a green shirt on today. Hey, before we get into the knife content, wanted to show you these two things on the table. I had a chance to do a little vacation time this past week. I took my two grandchildren, Polaris and Orion, down to Florida for a week. We had a high school invitational baseball tournament to attend the first half of the week. I visited my elderly mother in Florida the fourth day, took the kids to see her, and we said hi, and finally on Friday, we got to visit the Kennedy Space Center and go see a bunch of new exhibits as well as some old ones to learn about space history and future plans such as the Artemis II launch. Now, briefly, if you haven't heard of the Artemis program, this is a collective program with lots of partners, hundreds if not thousands of subcontractors, but spearheaded by NASA, SpaceX, Blue Origin, and Boeing. Now, these companies are producing lunar landers, lunar rovers, new rockets, and the technology to get us up to the moon a second time with manned space flights coming soon in about a year to year and a half. That will be Artemis III. We have 4 planned astronauts to go into space, and I want to congratulate them on a job well done to get into space. Again, the future plans are to basically build a new space station, build a new outpost on the moon from which we will send rockets into space to discover and explore Mars as well as other endeavors. These are the plans just in the next 2 years, and there's more to come, I'm sure. So if you ever get a chance to go visit the Kennedy Space Center, you will not be disappointed. There is quite a bit to see. We also have the rocket's red glare, 250 years celebrating our country's anniversary, and this is the NASA mission patch for that as well. All right, that's going to do it. Got an extra skip in my step this week for a little bit of time off from work, and got to spend some quality time with the grandkids. 1, 2 out of 3 games on the baseball tournament, not too bad. All right, we're going to go ahead, pause the video, and we're going to talk about, I think, the very final, and it's either the 5th or 6th knife that I picked up during the holidays, the Rough Ryder Reserve line, and this is one of the big boys of the series, so stay tuned. All right, so the 6th and final knife in a series of knives that I purchased during the Christmas holidays this year were all Rough Ryder Reserves. Now, this is a mid-line priced, premium quality slip joint knife brand put out by the parent company of Smoky Mountain Knife Works and is distributed to several different dealers in the country. My 3 favorite to go to for these knives are SMKW, Chicago Knife Works, and Discount Cutlery. But there are others that you can pick these knives at. We are going to take a look at the 6th and final knife in this series, and it is one of their big boy knives. This knife is 4.5 inches closed, 7.7 inches overall length when the largest blade is opened. This does have 3 D2 steel blades, and the model number on this beauty is model number RRR003 BM, standing for Blue Micarta. And this one is called the Rough Ryder Reserve Blue Micarta swell-center Whittler. And of course, this is a traditional folding slip joint knife. It has beautiful D2 steel blades, a really nice nickel silver bomb or federal shield on the knife. It has micarta scales, a 4-pin nickel silver construction on an integral faux-bolstered frame design. There is the back of the knife. Brass liners on this one. 2 springs. Just beautiful quality. No gaps whatsoever between those liners and the 2 springs. Double flutes on the 2 bolsters. They are not equal end, but there is a swell center on both the top and the bottom of the frame of the knife. Gives it a really nice feel in hand. And with this 4.5-inch handle, you have plenty of finger room and a full 4-finger grip on the knife. Let's go ahead and open it up. Of course, we have match strike style nail nicks. One right in the center of this beautiful, I'm going to call it a modified spear point blade. It's a bellied spear. We have a beautiful swedge that starts halfway down the blade and goes all the way to the tip. All right, a little bit of recurve coming back into the tang of that modified spear point blade. Satin finish on this D2 steel blade. Of course, you have your standard Rough Ryder Reserve laser etched logo in the blade. It says Rough Ryder on this side, and on this side it has the model number RRR003BM D2 steel, China. Yes, these knives are made in China, but were designed or modified patterns by Andy Armstrong, who used to be one of the senior designers for this company and now has moved on to Rosecraft Blades. But a beautiful swell-center large slip joint knife on this. So there is the spear point on this blade. I want to call this about a 7. Yeah, definitely a 7 to 7.5, maybe 7 1/4 on the blade pull on this. Nice walk and talk, nice snap. Let's go ahead and get that nail nick for the pen blade. So there you go. There is the little pen blade or Whittler blade. All right, and we'll go ahead and close that, and then I will go to the other side and we will open up this little, well, I guess you could call it a lamb's foot blade, but typically when they are on the Whittler pattern, this is called the coping blade. So this is the blade that you use if you're doing some whittling work to do some detailed scoring. Of course, that lamb's foot utility point on that flat edge knife is perfect for making those initial incisions into your wood to get your deep cuts into the wood, and then you can use your whittling blade to go ahead and carve the wood out. But a beautiful little satin finished coping blade. Now this also has a swedge that just runs halfway down the spine and out to the upper tip, okay, before that lamb's foot takes a dive to the point. Okay, so the swedge is not all the way to the point on this one, but just a real nice looking knife. This blade is also etched with RRR, Rough Ryder. All right, so there you go. There's a shot of the blade. Now your 3 blade lengths that are on this, you have a 2.8-inch modified spear, and then both your coping blade and your pen blade are 2 1/8 inches long. 2.125. Double flutes on those bolsters. The head bolster is larger than the tail bolster. All right. Very nice looking knife and feels really good in the hand. Those smaller blades tuck nicely down into the handle, so there are no hot spots when you grip this knife and you go to use that full-size spear point blade. Full 4-finger grip, a little bit tucked in my palm actually right there, gives a nice extra large hand plus size full finger grip on it. Knife overall, I think I said, was 7.7 inches. And the weight of this big boy is 4.8 ounces. So no slouch in the weight department, but certainly also not in both the handle size, the grip, or that nearly 3-inch blade length for the main blade. Okay, I think we've covered most of the specs on this one. Tell you what, of course, since it's the Rough Ryder Reserve series, it always comes wrapped in a wax paper. Then that is wrapped in this microfiber cloth, Rough Ryder Reserve, always built by hand and backed for life, and then comes with foam inserts top and bottom in this tin with their red logo, as well as their always built by hand logo on the base of the steel or aluminum tube. All right, we're going to set this off to the side. We're going to put this one down and compare it to some of the other big knives in the Rough Ryder Reserve series so you can get a feel for the size of this blade. First of all, I'm going to go ahead and put out, and actually we'll go ahead and open these up. And I'm just going to open this up with the main blade. So here is the Rough Ryder model number 3BM. We're going to open up the Sugar House Knife Syndicate and take a look at the Flying Goddess. This was a recent release by Finch Knives. So we'll go ahead and put these side by side. You can get an idea on just how big this knife is. We're going to put it up next to another Coke bottle or swell-center knife. This is the Rosecraft Cumberland River. Let's go ahead and open this up. This was that beautiful toasted marshmallow, white scaled, smooth bone handles. Just one of the best looking knives of the Rosecraft brand. Let's go ahead and set that there. So there you go. We're going to go ahead and take a look at the recently looked at large Trapper from the Rough Ryder Reserve line. And we'll set that there. So I think you can see that this, even though the handle of this Whittler is longer than the Trapper, those two knives are just about the same length, with maybe the Trapper and its bellied clip point blade being slightly longer. And now we're going to take a look at one of my two favorite Rough Ryder knives. I'm going to go ahead and move these three aside, make room for the others. Maybe I can get them here off to the side. And let's do two more comparisons. These are the two largest knives that I believe Rough Ryder Reserve makes. Of course, I own them because I like the bigger blades. This is the Longfellow Granddaddy Barlow. So there is a knife that's nearly 9 inches long. And finally, the knife that is 10 inches long when open, nearly 11. There is my favorite. This is the Fiddleback Rosecraft Reserve knife, the RRR003. The largest I believe they make, and is actually my favorite Rough Ryder Reserve of all time. But I'll tell you what, I really have dug this Trapper, and now I know I'm going to go ahead and enjoy the Whittler when I want to carry a larger knife that I can do some whittling with. Has that nice little fine coping blade on it. So there you go. There are 4 of the biggest Rough Ryder Reserve knives to date, and some of my favorite of the series. So that's going to do it for me today. This is Byron from Splitting Slices saying go get yourself some Rough Ryder Reserves. Again, my 3 favorite dealers are Smoky Mountain Knife Works, Chicago Knife Works, and Discount Cutlery. I will tell you that prices range vastly on this series of knives. I can tell you that this Whittler is running anywhere from about $32 to $60, depending on where you buy it. I will wish you the best of luck. That's going to do it for me. Split a slice with a friend soon. Enjoy these Rough Ryder Reserve knives, and until my next video, everybody please take care.